I'd like to welcome you all to this annual summer conference of the Centre for Business Taxation. It's wonderful to see how many people would like to spend the day inside a darkened room discussing tax rather than going to Glastonbury. There's a great deal happening in the tax policy debate at the moment. So BEPS is coming to a conclusion. We don't know quite what they're going to say. There's clearly some disputes at the moment which are so far unresolved as far as I know. The European Commission has re-entered the debate. It seems to have dropped a C from the CCCTB, among other things. And we have a new government unshackled from the constraints imposed by the Liberal Democrats, which will have a budget in a couple of weeks, and possibly substantial tax reform there as well. So there's quite a lot happening at the moment. We could have had a conference to talk about any of those things, but actually we're going to leave them all to one side. I'm sure they'll come up at some point. But the idea is to step back from the hustle and bustle of the current policy debate to take the longer view. So we're celebrating two anniversaries in particular this year. And the first is that it's 50 years since the UK introduced a corporation tax. That takes us back to 1965 when Harold Wilson was Prime Minister and Jim Callaghan was Chancellor of the Exchequer. It's the year before England won any significant football match. It's well before modern communications, travel, the internet. The world was really a different place in 1965, and corporation tax has changed as well over that time. So the large part of today will be discussing that. So that's one thing. The 50 years is one anniversary. The second anniversary is the Centre for Business Taxation, which was created in 2005. So we're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, and as you know, we're having a reception at the end of this conference at 5 o'clock, if you can all stay that long, to have a glass of wine and celebrate that. And there is a third august institution which is also celebrating 10 years this year, almost as august as the Centre for Business Taxation. That's Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, slightly larger organisation. So we should celebrate that as well. So today we aim to take the long view. How did we get where we are today over those 50 years? How has it developed? We've had numerous reforms over that time. What were the rationales for those reforms? Were the reforms beneficial? And where have they left us? And most importantly, perhaps, where are we now and where are we going over the next 50 years? So one of the things I proposed as a title for this conference was Corporation Tax, the First 100 Years, trying to kind of make us think of the future as well as the past. I was overruled by my colleagues on that, my more prosaic colleagues who thought actually, if we said that, then many people would contact us to say, it's only 50 years old, not 100 years old. We do know that, but anyway. So the idea is to take the broad view. Things have changed dramatically over the last 50 years. I think things will probably change dramatically over the next 50 years. We're going to take today to kind of take stock of where we've got to and where we should go. I think we have a first-class set of speakers to address that. They're all well acquainted with the past and hopefully have good things to say about the future as well. And there's quite a lot of us here today as well, but I hope we can generate some useful discussion even with these numbers of people. So I'm going to start by handing over to an extraordinarily distinguished tax practitioner, John Avery Jones. So John has unparalleled experience of corporation tax. He served as a judge in the tax tribunals for over 20 years. He was senior partner at Speechley Bircham for 16 years. He was a member of the Mead Committee, the IFS Capital Taxes Group. He was chairman of the Tax Law Review Committee. Among other things, he's been editor of the British Tax Review. He's been president of the Institute of Taxation, chairman of the British branch of IFA, vice president of the IFA Executive Committee, and a visiting professor at the LSE. So that was just kind of a small selection of the things that I could have read out. Perhaps most significant, and I hope he doesn't mind me revealing this, but he can actually remember the introduction of the corporation tax in 1965. So he's lived through the whole 50 years as an active participant in the debate, and I can't think of anybody better to introduce today's proceedings. So John.